I watched every Marvel MCU television show. That's all of the Netflix shows, What If to IronHeart. And after over 12,373 minutes of She-Hulk, Daredevil, I'm gonna rank all of them. Let's get into it. Before we get started, I want to clarify that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is not included in this list because somehow it's not considered Marvel canon. I don't know how that's possible, but once I found that out, I stopped watching. Overall, it's a good show, so I'll give it a C tier rating, even though I didn't finish it. Also, getting through these shows was really hard because, frankly, some of them aren't good. So please like, subscribe to ease the pain, and comment below what you think is the best Marvel TV show and why. We're going to start with the first show, and that's Daredevil. I'm going to combine the Netflix and Disney shows. This show is amazing. I remember thinking it when watching how cool it was that Daredevil was like getting his ass whooped, because I felt that was realistic. Like, yeah, you got hypersenses, but bro, people can shoot you. The Netflix series is super dark and gritty, and that iconic one take, no mistake hallway shot is legendary. Even the Disney Plus show did an amazing job with Daredevil Born Again's opening fight scene. I will say the Netflix show drags on just a little bit, but this allows for character development for Matt Murdock, Karen, and of course Foggy. This is a really good show, and honestly, it's easily the best of all of them. So S tier. Jessica Jones is a good show that made me really uncomfortable. Kilgrave he's a weird, scary dude, but a good villain. A lower budget meant that these shows are really grounded, and that's a good thing because sometimes cosmic space stuff, it just ain't hitting. But the gritty New Yorker in Jessica Jones, who has a bit of a drinking problem, is much more relatable, especially to me. Again, messing with people's minds was a bit off for me, but this was an A-tier show, maybe a bit too long, which is a theme for pretty much all of the Netflix shows. I mean, seriously, the amount and the length of these episodes just kind of scream, we want you on our app for as long as possible, but I enjoyed the show. There are things that hold Luke Cage down from being S tier, but also things that bring it up from what should be a mid-C tier show. First, Michael Coulter can't act at all. He's terrible. Flat delivery. He's just awful. I know he's written to be kind of corny, but his delivery and pretty much everything made me say, what the fuck? A lot while watching this show. However, the writing in this show is excellent. The people who write a lot of today's Marvel content should take a lesson so it's not so on the nose and obvious. The underlying story of poverty and Black excellence is done very well. And again, this is done without screaming it at you. We also get to see why Marvel wanted Mahershala Ali as Blade, so B tier. There is a lot not to like about Iron Fist. Actually, this show was trash. A show that was centered around martial arts had weak fight scenes. Danny Rand was pretty unlikable in general, and I guess we can blame that on the actor, but this is also the clearest example of pacing issues among all the shows. Iron Fist didn't need nearly as many episodes. It certainly didn't need 2 seasons, but shout out to Jessica Henwick as the only thing redeemable about this show, F, and I don't need to defend this rating. But The Defenders was awesome despite Iron Fist. There's something pretty amazing about a bunch of heroes teaming up to stop baddies. Marvel's already shown they can do this with the Avengers, and this show is no different. This works even better when you have good characters from good shows at the forefront, i.e. everything up to this point. I enjoyed the action. The story was built up over multiple seasons of other shows. It's almost like it's this own little universe how we led up to the Avengers. So the investment for me was definitely there. Not too long, and it didn't overstay its welcome. A tier. The Punisher is a dark, gritty, super violent show that I enjoyed, and also it made me uncomfortable. I'm squeamish, sorry. The elements of PTSD made me squirm, but Jon Bernthal absolutely bodies this role. Being the head to Daredevil's tails, even though Daredevil isn't around, is really interesting. Like, he's the other side of it. The man is torn apart inside because of the death of his family. Bernthal conveys that everybody gotta go to actually fix things so well. Again, as opposed to Daredevil, who tries to do it a certain way. I feel like when Netflix imagined how their shows were going to be, The Punisher was a shining example. A tier. In case you didn't know, Marvel decided to cancel all of the Netflix shows for good or for bad to make way for the new shows to air on Disney Plus, and we start with WandaVision. First, what a great show. What a time to be alive. This was peak COVID. We was all in the house drinking and doing other stuff probably, and Disney started with a bang with this one. Seriously, Seriously, this show is so good. It's based on sitcoms from different eras. The episodes aren't too long, they're only like 30 minutes. A heartbroken Wanda creates an entire world and takes a city hostage just so she can be happy. This is a shining example of just making good television. Sometimes it's not even about can we tee up the next show. This is just good TV. Sometimes you just want to sit down and watch good TV, and that's what this is. No agendas, just creating good television. Seriously, taking over an entire city's mind and bending them to your will and creating children just so you can be happy is diabolical. But I also feel like it's something you can kind of relate to because she just wants to be happy. The Agatha super CGI fight at the end was kind of whatever, but that's like 5 minutes of meh for an S tier show. You know how you hit a pothole that's so big your tire is immediately chalked, you know it, and you just pull over? That is kind of where Marvel is right now, and it started with the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. A big ass pothole that could have been avoided if Disney would have stayed on Twitter and not pay so much attention to what was going on in the world and just made TV shows about comics. This show is not terrible by any means, but it takes a very distinct turn, and Marvel has been doing it ever since. So let's start with the things that are good about this show. 1, Secret Agent. First, absolutely amazing, and he keeps that going in the Thunderbolts. Bucky and Sam have a good dynamic that started all the way back in Winter Soldier. Just great chemistry. And of course, 3, Zemo dancing. Yeah. Okay, I'll stop. The problem with this show, the idea of a world being a better place during the blip is actually an interesting concept. Like, there's a lot of gray area there, but it had very poor execution. The subplot of Captain America / the Falcon not being able to get alone was total bullshit. Miss me with the whole black man can't get alone. That shit was forced and it was trash. But side note, why are the Avengers not being paid? If influencers can get rich selling face cream, people that save the fucking universe should get a yacht. Sam needs to hire like a marketing agency or something, flat out. I feel like this is on him that he can't help his sister. But remember when I mentioned not throwing stuff in my face? Most movies or shows, when the writing is not subtle and you're just smacked in the face with it, it almost never works. People see right through it. The struggle of being a black Captain America is just dumb. And the long-winded speech while he's carrying a little ginger girl about politicians need to be better, while true, it just isn't needed. The writing of the show is not clever enough to pull this off. This all effectively turned what could have been a great show into a C-tier show. Also, the power broker thing, where did that even come from? Loki is really good television. You're gonna hear me say that a lot. These are TV shows. The multiverse stuff in general has been kind of a disaster, but somehow this grounds it all. Jonathan Majors does an excellent job at the end of season 1 and throughout season 2. I don't care how you feel about him because I'm just watching TV. Owen Wilson is somehow not miscast and brings it the whole time, and his chemistry with Loki, aka Tom Hiddleston, is awesome. I'm not a fan of the ending, but I do get it. Loki found his true purpose after just, doing whatever the entire time, and he's still out there just holding branches together. I mean, Loki has always been a complex character, but we peel the onion back. I think I'm scraping potatoes even more. Also, shout out to the set designer. They nailed it. Second best Marvel show ever, S tier. What If is fucking amazing. This show exists because of the multiverse nonsense, so I was not looking forward to watching it, but man, this show is really, really good. A lot of people watching this have never seen the show, so first of all, go watch it, and you absolutely should. It's so good. Great animation, and most of the characters like Black Panther, Thor, Yondu, Nick Fury, they all have the same voice actors from the movies. And they also visit some really good scenarios like, what if T'Challa became Star-Lord? Or what if Ultron won and destroyed literally everything? Seriously, the Guardians of the Multiverse episode is really good. It's the finale of season 1. Go watch it. I had so much fun watching this show. I highly recommend it. S tier. I'll admit I did not like Hawkeye the first time I saw it. I watched it when it came out in 2021, but the second time around, I enjoyed it. And shout out to Haley Steinfeld. Between this and Sinners, I'm a fan. I'm gonna put this in A tier. It's a fun show, and sometimes that's all you need. Like, this came out around the holidays, and I think we all take all of this stuff a little too seriously. Like, Marvel has some toxic shit going on in their fandom. Sometimes you just have to ask the question, guys. Did you have a good time watching the show? My answer is yes, and honestly, that should be enough. The subplot of the Dungeons and Dragons people is kind of whatever. Echo is really badass in this, and again, the Haley Seinfeld comedy is a bit much, but it's fine because Yelena Belova steals the show again, probably because she's just amazing. Moon Knight is not a good show. It does, however, have really good moments. The first episode is excellent. The idea of him going back and forth between personalities mid-fight, kicking ass, and then Steven Grant comes back and is freaked out. Oscar Isaac brings his A game to this series. Then it falls off a steep cliff. Episodes 2, 3, and 4 are boring and just blah, and Ethan Hawke's wig makes me really upset. We get talking hippos and bad dialogue, and it's just kind of slow. Then episode 5 happens, which covers the origin of Moon Knight's multiple personalities. This episode hits really hard, and say it with me, good fucking television. Sad, gripping, just a good TV show. Then the last episode happens and a giant skeleton fights a giant alligator in Egypt by the pyramids. No thanks, C tier. Ms. Marvel is a show I liked on both watches. She's literally the only good thing about the Marvel movies, and this is a credit to Iman Vellani. Hope I pronounced that right. Cute, quirky. I know she's only like 22 or something, but she plays a teenager and captures that innocence really well. She's like an actual teenager. I love that. The show covers Islamophobia, and it's not hitting you in the face with it, even though it's clearly there. And that's saying something because this show was written when, let's just say, people had agendas. This is all COVID stuff. We can talk about that more in the next couple minutes, but there's nothing wrong with this show. Nothing great about the show either. B tier. I said let's talk about agendas in a couple of minutes. I didn't know that She-Hulk was the next on the list when I was scripting this. First off, fuck this show, okay? And it's not because it's a female lead, because I like Ms. Marvel. I like Hawkeye. There are things I even like about IronHeart. The writers should absolutely be ashamed of themselves. It has no identity, and this reeks of what YouTuber Snarky J calls a self-insert. Basically, the writers insert their beliefs in the show, even if it doesn't make sense in the grand scheme of the show. They write She-Hulk like a girl boss who is a better version of the Incredible Hulk. Sure, fine, whatever. But then they also write her as some woman who is thirsty as hell to get a man. Seriously, there's an entire episode where she is just checking her phone every 5 minutes after she let a dude smash and he ghosted her. Also, fuck whoever sold the idea that She-Hulk is more attractive than Jennifer Walters, the actual human, because Jennifer Walters is fine as hell. She has 2 one-night stands in the show, makes Daredevil look like a sucker after he smashed, and the last episode where they break the fourth wall is just a train wreck. This is the worst, and I mean the worst, show or movie in the history of Marvel. Secret Invasion had a lot of promise, a lot of hype, and it did not deliver. First off, D. Yes, D as in dumb. The Super Skrulls look really dumb. Terrible CGI in the climax of the show. Nick Fury was fucking on a Skrull the whole time, and Disney felt that was important and we need to know that. The concept of this show should have made for some good television. Like, you don't know who to trust. Everybody's a Skrull, but it just doesn't. But it wasn't because Samuel L. Jackson wasn't trying. The scene where Talos tells Nick Fury that there are millions of Skrulls on Earth just living life, Sam brings it. Another bright spot is Gravik, played by Kingsley Ben Adir. I hope I said that right. He is a great villain in a middling show. Echo is a decent show with a bad ending. I'm not talking about it very much because I still don't even know what the hell happened in the ending, and I've watched it twice. I think Echo took Kingpin to some kind of therapy. Well, I guess it didn't work because he's an absolute monster in Daredevil Born Again. So I'll discuss it more when you can tell me how a 70-year-old male lady starts kicking mercenary ass. C tier. Agatha all along was fun. It was fun. The trials were fun to watch. I even liked the singing. When you watch, you kind of have to remember it's not really connected to anything happening that's in the current MCU. If you get past that, it's a good show. Seriously, the witch trials are really fun. They make for good television. That's it. B tier. Last but not least, we have IronHeart. And I just finished it like 4 minutes ago, and I'm gonna say, ooh, did they write a selfish character. By the time you saw this, this, you probably know that the internet is taking a dump all over it. I don't care about all of that. Like, I like to watch the show for myself, see if I like it, drown in noise. The first 3 episodes, everything the internet says is pretty much true. And it's not because it's a black female lead. It's not because it's a female lead. It's just bad writing. It's nobody's fault because they're just reading what they were given. What they write in the first 20 minutes of the show is a super selfish character who just wants what she wants. And through the next 5 episodes, they try to give her a redemption arc. And that doesn't even work. But you know what? The second half of this season is pretty good. It definitely saves it. I was ready to give this F tier. The first 3 episodes are hot garbage. Riri literally kills a guy. He literally becomes a criminal because she wants to build a suit. And it takes 4.5 episodes of a 6-episode season to even understand why she wants the suit so damn bad. But you know what? The second half of the show, specifically Parker Robbins, aka Hood, who is controlled by Mephisto, is really good. It kind of focuses on him a little bit more in episode 5 and 6, and I enjoy that. The funniest thing about this, and this is a spoiler by the way, she builds a new suit which looks really good by the way, and they give her an opportunity to redeem herself. She has friends, she has family, and it's like, oh my god, like she did it, even though she didn't really deal with any consequences like ever, or at least not in this season. I don't think there's going to be a season 2 of this. They give her the opportunity to turn down Mephisto, who will bring back her dead friend, and you're like, she's going to let the past be the past. There's literally an episode called that, and she accepts Mephisto's offer and brings back her dead best friend, despite seeing what it did to Hood throughout the whole show, turn him into a demon. Like, the selfish character they present to you in the first 20 minutes, she never gets out of that. With that being said, I did enjoy episodes 4, 5, and 6. Shout out to the guy that plays Parker Robbins. Shout out to Riri Williams. It's not her fault. She's just reading what the script says. These writers should be fired. And I know Ryan Coogler is attached to this project. He didn't direct it. I think he executive produced. I don't know what that actually means in Hollywood, but this is a mid-level show that is definitely saved by the last 4 episodes. C tier. Guys, that's going to do it for the MCU Marvel TV show tier list. Guys, this took a lot of TV watching. But comment below, what did you think? What do you agree with? What do you disagree with? Thank you so much for watching. Next up, we got a Superman tier list since there's a Superman movie coming out in a couple of weeks. My name is Jesse the Contrarian, and I'll see you next time.